Grab your weapon of choice and watch out for landmines. We were joking because we have the most talked about movie of the year. Not really. I told my friends I was gonna see it and they're like, didn't that movie come out 8 years ago? Music, that's a pretty damn good movie if you haven't seen it. In this video, we're gonna take a deep dive into The Hunt and explore what its cryptic ending says about our current social political landscape. Yay, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, there is a winner at the end and I'll explain whether it's one of those damn liberal elites or redneck conservatives. The film begins with a behind-the-head shot of Athena played by Hilary Swank. Of course, we don't know that it's her until about 3/4 of the way into the movie, since her face is kept hidden from us for literally no reason, and for a film that has a ton of action, it's kind of a lackluster start. We get about a minute of just her reading text messages on her phone, and if I wanted to do that, I'd just read the messages from the teenager had her phone on in front of me for half the damn movie. Athena is messaging her liberal elite friends, making fun of the president and joking about how she'd love to hunt and kill deplorable. He's deplorable. He's, of course, a nod to Hillary Clinton's use of the word to describe Trump supporters in 2016. You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorable. ZZ Athena is also sent a photo of a turtle, which I want you to remember for an important scene that's coming up. We fast forward a year later on a private jet where we meet Richard, which is a fitting name since he's a dick, pretentiously showing off to the stewardess how he regularly dines on the most expensive caviar. As he's being poured champagne, he tells her the story of the 1907 high-section plane, the world's most expensive, which is sacked by a German U-boat while being delivered to Russia in World War I. This champagne is symbol of the liberal elite, will come into play later on in the film, but before the flight lands, one of the deplorable ZZ crashes the party. Yes, the elites have drugged and transported 12 deplorable ZZ to a remote location so they can systematically hunt them down. One of them is played by Emma Roberts, and I kid you not, her name is Yoga Pants. Now, when I was watching the trailers for the movie, I thought for sure she'd be one of the main characters, but they did a whole subvert your expectations thing and kill her off within the first minute. The same with Staten Island over here, played by Ike Barinholtz. Their names are extensions of their characters, which are caricatures in and of themselves. Take, for example, Vanilla Nice over here, who is some sort of deadbeat gangster rapper on the elite side. Many of the characters are so over the top they call each other out for misgendering and racial insensitivity, while they themselves are freaking murderers. So Yoga Pants awakens from her drug-induced state, bound and gagged. She immediately sees this woman, Crystal, in the distance, who uses her namatag to pick the lock on the back of the gay. We'll later find out that Crystal is ex-military, which is why she's so good at surviving on her own and kicking ass. They soon come across a field with a giant crate in the middle and one of the deplorable ZZ named target. You can see why they called him that. Opens the crate to reveal a pig called Orwell, named after the author of Animal Farm. Animal Farm tells the story of a group of farm animals who rebel against their human farmer, hoping to create a better society, which is what these liberal elites are attempting to do. In fact, in a later scene, one of the elites, named Ma, talks about what she's doing is part of a rebellion. The crate also has other goodies in it: pistols, machine guns, and a samurai sword for good measure. Yoga Pants finds the keys to everyone gags in an envelope behind the crate door, and just as they start to gear up, they're chased by the elites and picked off one by one, Yoga Pants being the first to go, followed by Trucker. Over here, 3 of the deplorables are able to make it over the fence of this compound that they're in and into a mom and pop gas station. But little do they know the owners are in on it, killing the 3 by poisoning them. We learn a little bit about Ma and Pa, who hate those who don't believe in climate change. So it's kind of ironic they run a gas station and kill their victims via poisonous gas. Now it's been over 20 minutes into the movie, and everyone we thought would be our main character have all gone up and died. Into Crystal, who will take up the mantle. She's able to do that. The owners are not who they say they are. When she asked for a pack of smokes and the price she is given is way off from what it should be in Arkansas, where Pop says she makes quick work of them, ready to escape in a nearby truck, only to find it rigged with explosives. She rips off the Arkansas license plate to reveal find it a Croatian license plate. They aren't in Arkansas, they're in Europe. She has to duck for cover when a drone comes along looking for her, but a deplorable named Greg shoots it down. The two team up, and we learn that Greg is a right-wing conspiracy theorist. This is a guy who spends his time propagating lies and is likely a character of Alex Jones' I Don't Like a Button chemicals in the water So it's no wonder why the elites chose him for the hunt. In fact, part of the fun of the movie is figuring out why each of these characters were chosen, and the film gives small clues for each of them. For example, Big Red is an anti-LGBT protester, and Staten Island over here is a douchey gun owner from New York. Greg starts spewing his conspiracy theories about how liberal elites embedded in the deep state hunt humans. When they hop aboard a train and find a group of refugees, which Greg immediately calls crisis actors, now one of them is actually an elite in disguise, but it's never really expanded on how he got on the train or how he knew that Greg and Crystal were gonna be there. The train suddenly stops and is inspected by Croatian military, where Greg and Crystal are taken in as refugees, but Greg runs paranoid into the forest. The Croatians find out that Crystal is indeed American and unite her with one of the other hunted named Don, who is this army vet racist guy. But the Croatians are likely in league with the elites, as the envoy who comes to pick them up and take them to the American embassy is actually one of them. In fact, his name on IMDb is faux envoy, or fake envoy, translated from French. Crystal's spider senses go off when fake envoy over here starts asking Don about why these guys chose him of all people. What he's getting at is that these people weren't chosen at random. There must have been a purpose. Later on the movie, we'll find out that part of this purpose was to expose their biases. Maybe if they see how bad they've been, they'll learn to change. Crystal kills the fake envoy by running him over, and in a nice little roadside chat next to his dead body tells Dawn about a childhood story her mother used to tell her. This story is similar to that of the tortoise and the hare, but in this version, after the hare loses, it shows up to the tortoise's house, murders him and his family, and proceeds to eat his food because, according to her mother, the hare always wins. Know what? Dawn asks, are we the tortoise or the hare? But she doesn't answer. We'll get to that in a bit. Crystal and Dawn take matters into their own hands and take the fight back to the elites, who are all holed up in a bunker. Crystal making quick work of the group, but there is one elite left, the head honcho, Athena. She comes on the radio, not knowing what has just transpired, and asks Dawn if he's killed her yet, meaning Crystal. But is this just a ploy? Is he really an elite, or is she playing with Crystal's mind? Anyway, she shoots him and goes on one last mission of a wrench to take on Athena herself. Athena, of course, a warrior goddess from Greek mythology. But before we head to the final confrontation, we get a quick backstory on why these elites set up the hunt in the first place. Athena, for example, called the president a rat and laughed about hunting deplorable for sport. This rumor then spread around the internet, resulting in her being fired, so she teams up with a group of others who equally hate these deplorable asses, each of them with their own reasons. Like Mampa, who can't stand climate change. Daenerys, these guys spent an entire year creating a list of 12 candidates to be taken to the hunt, each of them a mix of racist, bigoted, misogynist, climate change, Daenerys pro-gun, all the things those on the left like to say about those on the right. Athena believes America now belongs to the ignorant and uneducated, and all she's doing is culling the worst of the worst. Crystal was chosen by Athena for a very personal reason. She was the one to post online that Athena ran a manor where she hunted humans. So what does Athena do in retaliation? Start a manor where people can hunt humans. Athena goes on to tell Crystal that she knows everything about her, how her parents were meth heads and dealt drugs. But what Athena doesn't know is that she got the wrong Crystal. There's a Crystal in her town with the same exact name, but one letter off. She even says she sometimes gets her mail, but Athena thinks she's lying, and they engage in hand-to-hand combat for about 10 minutes. Seriously, it's a long battle. Ultimately, both women succumb to stab wounds and fall on the ground on the verge of death. Crystal as Athena, while she continually called her Snowball, the name of a character from Animal Farm, who was seen as an idealist. But Athena is more shocked that she actually has read Animal Farm. Part of what this movie tries to shed light on is that sometimes our assumptions about others aren't what we think. As writer Damon Lindelof said, the movie tries not to get too caught up in what their beliefs are, because it's so interested in this idea of identity politics and what we assume about each other, and how those assumptions are very often both dead wrong and dead right, pun intended. Crystal ends up surviving and eating the grilled cheese Athena had been preparing. While they chatted, Crystal is the rabbit from her mother's story, even eating the food the tortoise, Athena in this case, made. She gets on a private jet which is conveniently waiting in the backyard of the manor and tells the pilot to take her home, and in a Fun turn, she offers the flight attendant some caviar, which Dick didn't do at the beginning, while she sips on that expensive U-boat champagne she moved from Athena's Crystal Survival. Is because she's not on the left or on the right, we actually never get to know her political views at all. She's stuck in the middle of a war between two equally crazy sides. If the film is trying to say anything about our polarizing times, it's that both sides are bad. Perhaps when you're somewhere in the middle, you may just survive it. Thanks for watching. Everyone, please make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you watched the movie. I'd also like to hear your comments below. You can also reach out to me on Twitter @StoryHoity. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.